Well, there goes the Daverhood. Got to do a short one because we have a short-ish show today, but crammed with lots of fun stuff on the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream that tends to sound just a little bit like this.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. There goes the Daverhood.
And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
We got David Lefkowitz here. He's a Long Island Hearts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's Gone By. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
Well, as I said, here goes the Daverhood with a brand new 723rd edition of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. With me, Dave, we got to turn down your volume, please. With me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling, adorable wife, Joyce, and we already have, let's see, we have Kathy and Carol, and of course, Tony, and my Aunt Bonnie.
Mike joined.
And Mike saying hi, and who else is saying hi on this Saturday? It is, no, what day is it? It's December 7th.
Isn't it Pearl Harbor Day?
A day that will live. And that's why, in fact, we're calling this episode INFAMY, INFAYOU.
William and Rose.
William and Rose, yeah, William
Bruce,
and Rose.
Brucey.
Bruce who? Oh, no, don't say last name. Really? Oh, my God, Bruce, welcome. He used to tune in all the time. He used to write in.
The Bruce is loose.
The Bruce is loose. He is back. So anyway, let me tell you, folks, and I'm seeing some new faces and new people as well who are tuning in on Facebook to this program, which is a mix of talk and culture and humor and, well, basically that. We don't have an interview today.
And condiments.
And condiments. See, here, I normally don't wear them, but I thought it's an old Rocky joke. But we have condiments because
I can even go live in the watch party now. It's so freaky. They've advanced it. I can actually go live in the watch party while you want.
Oh, that's just wait. So it's meta. They're watching you watch me, which is interesting. Which kind of it's like mirrors on the ceiling. You know.
Jerry, Joey, and Jeff joined.
Jerry, Joey, and Jeff
joined.
Well, welcome to all of you guys. Now, a couple of things we want to talk about. First of all, we never fully settled on the name of the new friend that we got, our special friend from the Funica box that my wife found semi-remaindered in a store in New York last week. So she got me, of course, this, which is so important. This was separate. This did not come in the Funica box. And we're saving these for Rabbi Saul Solomon. But this is our friend, and we were trying to name him last week. Someone came up with Roit Adom.
Yeah, I love that, about the red hair.
Right, because red like Yiddish, and Roit red in Yiddish, and Adom means blood, like blood red. Or does that mean red in Hebrew? It's one of the two. Yeah. We also, we have someone called Chris, which is just...
Chris is his middle name. That's the
No, that's not going to work. We can't name him Chris.
Oh, okay.
No. But there were other names.
Say hi to Billy.
Well, hi to Billy, and hi to all... Oh, hello, Guillermo. Hello to all the folks who are tuning in to this program. So one of the reasons we have two condiments posted up here, we're very excited about this, because usually when you go to restaurants and things, you get the little packets of Heinz ketchup or Hunt's ketchup. And the Heinz is, of course, the gold standard, if you will. But who knew that coming up close behind, Sir Kensington is now doing condiment packets as well. Because I never heard of them 3 years ago, and suddenly you saw Sir Kensington in restaurants and places, and it's damn good. And now they're even getting into, they're muscling in.
That was Whole Foods, yeah.
And at Whole Foods, they've got even. And I wonder who's going to be excited about this. Sir Kensington Classic Ketchup. Who would care? Ladies and gentlemen. Look what we got here. I'm going to cover up our mailing address there. Gee, hon, what do you think is in the box? What could possibly be in this
The
box?
death of my sanity.
Let's take a look, shall we? We're going to open box. Right, live on the air.
Oh, say hi to Howie and James.
Hi, Howie and James. How you doing? And Arlene, too. Welcome to the Daverhood. We're opening a box here that came in the mail for yours truly from I'm assuming, eBay.
Oh, watch something.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, I see tissue paper. Tissue, I hardly know you.
I see one.
Yeah, that's fun right there. And oh no!
Say hi to Rebecca and Edward.
Hello, Rebecca and Edward. Look, it's empty.
No, it's not.
It's
Don't be silly.
empty.
You can't fool your viewers are smarter than that.
It's not empty at all. Look who has come to us,
Please don't throw that on my bed.
ladies and gentlemen. It is a brand new. Well, actually, it was made 20-something years ago, but it's a potato. Someone sent me a potato, ladies and gentlemen, which is why, of course, we have food ready. Because whenever you adopt something, you have to be ready to feed it and kennel it and take care of it. Now, let's take a look at this potato. He does have soft, beautiful eyes. He's got a nice color on the hat. Take a look at the ribbon there. He's got, I mean, these are soft eyes. He's got the other eyes, of course, all over the place. He's got the tag that says Toy Box Creations on it. Does it give the year? Made in China by little children having their fingers hacked off by sewing machines. Ladies and gentlemen, a new potato. Hon, are you thrilled? Are you delighted by this?
I wrote potato in caps, and I'm trying to.
And she's also inviting folks to join us in watch parties. Welcome, by the way, to John.
I'm putting the picture that says haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Potatoes gonna potate. And welcome to David from my high school.
Oh yes, David Green.
Oh, another David. Yay.
And Kathleen and Edward. Did you say Rebecca, Edward, Kathleen, and David?
No, but you just did. So now we can go to all these folks in the Daverhood watching today on this program.
Now you can go live in the watch party while people are able to see and hear me. We could do that another time.
We're gonna test all this stuff out. You know, this is still relatively new technology for an old fogey like me to be doing this.
I work in.
That's right. My wife just took a job doing. I'm not gonna whatever. Okay. But
never mind.
Anyway, never mind. So, what can we? Well, here's the deal. Here's the one little negative aspect of this episode of Dave's Gone By. We're not going to be here for the full 3 hours.
7 hours. Give him the ketchup. Give him the ketchup.
Okay. Calm down, potato.
He's gonna start out with the good stuff.
Let's feed him. Let's feed him some ketchup. All right, don't eat all of it at once. So, because we have to go, can I at least mention why we're going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to my wife's mom, aka my mom-in-law, Rosemary, who is or just had a couple of days ago her 83rd, is it?
I think so.
83rd birthday. So yay, so we're going to go celebrate with her and take her to lunch. Hopefully we're going Dutch, but we might have to pay.
I told her you're going to eat the octopus.
I might.
Say hi to Ira and Adam.
Hello, Ira and Adam. Yes, I might have octopus, might have some other seafood because we're going to a Greeky type place. And if it is a Greek place, we will go through the back door. But that's a little comedy right there.
Say hi to Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. Is it Lisa from Greeley?
No, otro.
Oh, not Lisa. And Pavel. Ooh, Pavel.
Wow.
Like it. So,
Pavel and Havel.
So we're going to be here until about 10:30 only Eastern time today. We're not going to do the full. That's why we don't have a guest, except of course, new potato and
He's going to get
Adam.
spoiled. If he comes in, joins, the first thing he eats is the high-end ketchup. That's from Whole Foods. We can't afford that every day.
No, absolutely not. No, I don't know what we. Maybe we can water it down a little bit with water or some other with butter. We can mix it with butter.
With sugar.
Yeah, there you go.
Because we just need them to have more sugar.
Let's get potatoes hyped up on sugar. But we are, yeah.
Jonathan joined us.
Hello, Jonathan. So here's what we're going to do on this foreshortened episode of Dave's Gone By. We're going to have our Greeley Crimes and Old Times, which we are so backed up on. Because Joyce couldn't really be with us for most of the show last week, and then we took off the week before. And meanwhile, bless the Greeley Tribune, they've actually been doing this column, these two columns, week after week in the local newspaper where we were living, where they do cop log and old times 100 years ago. So we do a little bit on that called Greeley Crimes and Old Times that we really enjoy. We will do that today. By the way, welcome to Cynthia, just in time because we will be playing our Today-Yesterday quiz as well, which is a trivia quiz. Since today is December 7th, day that will live in infamy, INFAYOU, we will have questions about December 7th that you will answer, hopefully without cheating or looking in Google or Bing. Are there any other search engines anymore?
So my sister told me like DuckDuckGo. It's like it's a search engine that you can't, it's almost like incognito.
Yeah.
It doesn't track you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because it's DuckDuckGo, it quacks you.
Let's see. I'm gonna check it out.
And then they send you a bill because it is on the web.
David, don't be foul.
Oh, thank you.
I'll tell you about it. It says DuckDuckGo search engine. It tracks. It says try an anonymous search, and your privacy is guaranteed. It's an anonymous search engine about DuckDuckGo.
Oh, fantastic!
Privacy simplified. The internet privacy seamlessly search without any trade-offs.
Great. So I can finally find necrophilia porn, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, your cookies show that you find that a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Say hi to John and another James.
Hello, John and another James. So we're going to do those two things. We'll also go inside Broadway for news of the Rialto, because I've been an actor, a playwright, a playwright, a director, a theater journalist for many years. I do love the theater, and I want to review a couple of shows fairly quickly today that I've been seeing. 2 off-Broadway shows, including the Half-Life of Marie Curie, featuring one of your favorite actresses, by the way, dear. The woman from one of the Star Trek.
Oh, Kate Mulgrew.
Kate Mulgrew.
She's the lesbian icon.
Right. I don't know what that has nothing to do with Marie Curie, nothing to do with you, and nothing to do with maybe Star Trek a bit. But anyway, she's in that show, not playing Marie Curie.
Oh, I
but
wanted
playing
to
her
tell
friend.
your boss yesterday that I really like Acorn at the library. I didn't tell him that.
Oh, yeah. Joyce watches either Netflix or Acorn all the time. Acorn specializes in English mysteries and shows from Britain and BBC kind of stuff. What else? And and I'm going to be reviewing something else off Broadway. Oh, yes, a revival of Horton Foote's play The Young Man from Atlanta that they're doing at the Signature Theater Company. So I'll talk a little bit about that. We also have to say goodbye to 2 actors who passed away this past. Well, one's a director, one's an actor. We'll do that on Inside Broadway too. And what else? Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we go to Peetz, Colorado. I didn't know Pete owned Colorado, but apparently he does. Wow. So there you go. Yeah. Are you ready? Since we don't have a lot of time,
I'm clicking on all the people.
We can talk. Well, talk very briefly. Yesterday, I had my joined my office party for the holidays.
Pietro.
Hello, Otro Pietro. Our office party was held at a restaurant locally in Valley Stream. What is it? There's something fun, kind of, about Japanese hibachi places, but it's not something I want to deal with
often. There's the fear of death. Like you might get a shaker thrown at you. There might be the woman next to me who was the wife of your friend. She said that place had burned down. I said, how ironic. And she said it was when it was closed. I was like, that's really suspicious.
Yeah. Well, then again, a couple of restaurants that we know burned to the ground in Greeley too. Yeah,
maybe they didn't pay their mafia debt.
Yeah, maybe, or the Yakuza debt.
We gotta finish the Irishman. Yeah, I mean Irishman.
Oh yeah. So, but anyway, we went to this hibachi place, and boy, it gets noisy in places like that because it's like it's a Japanese kind of David and Buster's thing, where you're not just going to eat, you're going to be sociable, and everybody drinks, and it's kind of there's no carpeting, there's no anything to soak up the sound.
Except your sorrow.
So if 3 people are in the restaurant, it sounds like 20. And if 20 people, it sounds like 100. So you're just in there.
And it was a Friday night.
It was a Friday night, and people were convivial, and we were in sort of a party room.
Yeah, but I don't know why they put another table that wasn't ours in that room. That was weird.
Because it's a Friday night, and they could fill it with people. They couldn't give us a whole room. But there is something fun and also a little annoying at the same time of having to sit at the table and wait and beg for scraps from the sizzling grill table that our chef, who was
although my tofu was delicious with sesame.
Food was delish. The sauces they use, I mean, they gave us little 3 things of sauces. I mean, it's all show, in a manner of speaking. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just think Benihana. It's the same idea, where they cook at your table. which I don't always really want to. If I go to a restaurant, I don't want to see the preparation of food. Mostly, go do it and bring it out nice and hot and ready.
Yeah, but then it's so hot. It came out with sizzling, which I hate cold food. So to get the food hot like that was lovely.
But the thing is, you're sitting around the table with 8 or 9 other people, and you're waiting to eat, and you're hungry and stuff, and you're always, every single time he makes a certain amount.
I thought it was funny that the librarians couldn't count the number of people at our table. They had 8 chairs for 9 people.
Well, it happens.
Yeah,
it happens. So, but and I was on the end. So by the time I get to the last person, you're always wondering, is that guy going to remember me? And I think the chef guy who was preparing our thing thought that we both were vegetarians, because Joyce is and I am certainly not. I'm an omnivore.
But he gave me delicious brown rice.
Yeah. I mean, I will eat the table if there's nothing on the table to eat. And then Joyce is for a lot of reasons much more picky in what she will eat or can eat. But the point is, I think he connected us and thought I was a vegetarian too. So he was throwing all these vegetables at me. And I thought, oh, great, I'm not going to get any steak and chicken, which is what I paid for. And, I'm watching as he goes down the line, because he always goes to the right first and then around in a circle. And you're like, that person's getting 8 pieces of chicken, and that guy's getting 7, and she's getting 6. Oh, thank goodness, she doesn't want chicken. Good. And by the time he gets, oh, here's 3 pieces of chicken for you.
Say hi to Melanie. Yeah.
Hello, Melanie. So, and it happens that way time after time. And I'm like, just, and I'm in the very first thing he grills before he tests out anything else is tomato. He cuts 1 tomato into about 7 slices for 9 people. And you're happy. You're so hungry at that point when you're first starting. It's like, oh, thank you, Mr. Chef. You're giving me just a little wedge of tomato. Oh, I'm not going to starve tonight. Thank you. And the other annoyance is that you're supposed to eat all these things together, and you end up getting bit after bit. So you end up eating all the rice before you have all the stuff you want to put in the rice. And then there's onion, and, onion's good, and a grilled onion is fantastic, but I want to put my onion with my steak with my chicken, except they're coming sort of one after the other, except other than at the same time. Ultimately, I did eat. I did get a full meal, and it was delicious what we got.
He gave you extra rice. He gave you like it's not, what do you call that, a scalpel?
It's a spatula, kind of a metal spatula to
he could have used a spurtle. That would have helped him.
He could have.
I believe if there was a spurtle, it would have.
Oh, if only he'd had a spurtle. Oh, if only. But it was absolutely yummy, I will say that. And then, was not hungry by the end of it. For sure. I mean, rice helps a lot with that. But I got steak, I got chicken. It was very.
Thing was like a weird mushroom pot. It was so good in the beginning. It was like mushrooms on a thing. It was good. Remember? No. It looked like little tentacles of mushroom. It was like a cluster of.
Oh, that was in the soup. We got soup first and salad.
They cooked it. It was like mushrooms, Japanese mushrooms.
So it's not, in places that I would go eat weekly or bi-weekly. I love Japanese. I'll eat sushi anytime. But when it comes to a steakhouse. What? Sorry?
It's for special events.
Yeah. I mean, you go there for the experience as much as the food. And I'm a foodie, so I want to go for food. Yeah, this is the kind of thing you were commenting that my people, some of them were very.
See, this is what we remember the Japanese mushrooms. They were this.
Yeah. You want me to hold that up to the?
I wanted you to see it.
Those. Yeah.
Remember, we had those. They grilled those. Remember?
Yeah. Oh. No, actually, that was mung beans that looked more like that.
No, that was the second part. He grilled that first. They were attached. It was delicious.
Yeah, those.
Yes,
that was delicious.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to show you.
But it's kind of, a lot of the people that I work with are like me. They're like, yeah, we're at a party. Yes, it's the holidays. Yes, I'm with my coworkers that I see 35 hours a week and really don't want to hang with any other time. Just feed us. We'll make a little conversation. It's like, oh, how are you? Oh, you're the spouse. How's it going? Don't really care. I'm waiting for food, but how's it going? And that's the kind of person I am, and I think the kind of person most of us tend to be. But anyway, it is.
Tom and Melanie.
Hello. Well, we said Melanie before, but hello, Melanie again, and Tom and Bert and Cynthia, of course, cousin Cynthia. Yes, we will do our quiz before we get out of here, of course.
Let's go do the quiz then.
Well, let's do our. Something that
you have an hour.
We're so backed up on of Greeley crimes and old times because we haven't done it in so long. And let's make sure we have our theme music to go into that. And I'll explain what that is. There are 2 columns that go into the Greeley Tribune once a week. One is 100 years ago. where our friend Mike Peters goes into newspapers from 1919 and finds things that are nostalgic or weird or just something that gives you a longing or a little smile of the way things were in Colorado 100 years ago. And he compiles them into a column called 100 Years Ago. Plus, there's another column in here where they take very, very recent phone calls that come into the police dispatch in Greeley and Weld County. Not the serious, scary crime phone calls, but the calls of things that are just weird that people are calling the police about. And those are a lot of fun. They call it Coplog in the Greeley Tribune. We mix everything up and we call this segment Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Greeley Crimes and Old Times here on this Dave's Gone By Facebook Yo podcast Yo program Yo of the stream. Are you ready for some crime and some old time, dear?
Oh, I was born ready.
Here we go. Police, speaking of restaurants, police responded to a Mexican restaurant on 23rd Avenue. Oh, excellent. Good. Yes. I can't even see it with my my eyesight these days. We do have our... That's good enough. Police responded to a Mexican restaurant on 23rd Avenue for a man. He wasn't doing that. No, come on, that's a Korean restaurant. But oh, just kidding. A man was yelling at employees.
Jen and Skip.
Hello, Jen and Skip. Yelling at employees to give him his order.
I feel that goes with your show. You were just saying that the story about wanting food at the Japanese place.
However, officers later learned the man was so intoxicated, he didn't realize he hadn't ordered any food yet. They're like, where's my kumquats? I want my kumquats.
I feel sometimes you think in your mind you've done something and you didn't. We've all done that.
It's sort of reverse deja vu. You think you've done something that you haven't done, and suddenly you're redoing it. Police also responded to 11th Avenue for a man who was wearing only shorts, selling cologne on the street.
Is that the code for something?
I don't know.
Don't take your cologne to town.
Well, if they bring him to trial, you know what the judge is going to say?
What?
Odor in the court.
Oh, God.
Don't even know. Have no idea. Hey, police also responded to Wilshire Road.
Say hi to Barbara.
Oh, hi, Barbara and Darren and Bert and Chris. Welcome, Chris. Police responded to Wilshire Road for a report of a lethargic dog. Once on the,
Isn't that like most dogs are kind of lethargic, no?
Well, unless they're puppies. But
yeah, that's true.
On the scene, officers located one of two Australian shepherds.
Yeah.
Why they weren't tending their flock of sheep, I don't know, but one of which was exhibiting symptoms
I think they're union.
of marijuana toxicity.
The dog?
The dog. The owner said the dog got into some marijuana edibles.
Yeah, right. Benji's got to have it. Benji needs the cannabis. Benji needs the wah-wah weed. Hey, listen, if you're a sheepdog and you're chasing cattle, don't you think you have maybe arthritis? You might have sore. It's medical. The dog is saying it's medical. They have a medical card from the vet.
Right, yeah. No, actually, what's the dog that would wander around Alaska with the Red Cross
Saint Bernard,
on? Yeah. Saint Bernard providing his little bag of, he always has a green cross on him. As he wanders the Yukon.
It's like, are you looking for the ganja? I can help you.
Now, the owner said the dog got into edibles, which she was using to fatten up. What the what?
To fatten up who?
What the what? The owner said, this is true. Apparently this is true. This is what the owner told police. The dog got into these edibles, which she was using to fatten up chickens during the winter. This is also a chicken alert, by the way. This is worth waiting for, folks.
This one is sucking on an ice cream. There you go.
Yeah, it's like this chicken. Here's a chicken with an edible right here. Oh, man. Ooh.
But then if you
I'm
eat it, don't you
flying.
get marijuana poisoning?
Well, the word the dog was toxic. And the owner said, the dog had gotten into edibles once before and was, quote, stoned for like 4 days. But it wasn't a big deal.
Maybe the owner's also stoned. Why don't they lock it up? They should the company should make marijuana safe so they'd make a lot of money.
Because the officer told the owner that marijuana toxicity is a medical emergency for dogs and to get it to a vet immediately or be cited.
Yes.
Yeah. What I want to know is, dogs are colorblind, right? They only see a couple of different things.
I don't know.
So if dogs are around pot, do they see colors?
Oh, wow. Like they get psychedelic.
I was like, I see gray. By the way, Warhol's here. Welcome, Warhol. And I am going to say this person's name.
Who?
I normally don't give last names, but I will in this case.
Who?
Once Upon a Time.
Oh, that's a real name.
Once Upon a Time.
That's
Welcome
a real
to you,
name.
man.
That's a
And
real
Reggie
name.
as well. Yeah.
Well,
Let's do an old time
It
one.
looks like you have those things look like banners. You see?
Yeah, they look great. It's like it's the World Cup.
I like it.
This is from 100 years ago.
I'm going to say Team Mustard or Team Ketchup.
Well, that's Team Mustard or Mayo.
Oh, I'm
This
sorry.
is Team
Okay.
Ketchup.
Okay.
Don't take my ketchup away, Gabby, please. Okay, potato. It's all right. Elmer Jeremiahson, better known as just Jerry, came back home after a 1-year army assignment in Siberia.
Oh, God, that seems like a fun place to go.
He was a 1918 graduate from Greeley High School,
Mm-hmm.
and he joined the army right out of school. So you can tell, even back then, the schools were such that the best place for Greeley graduates was Siberia. When asked about...
Look at this graphic. Wait.
Oh, show me. When asked about Siberia, Jerry said it was, quote, a filthy hole.
Look.
Oh,
Is it your Team Mustard or Team Ketchup?
Oh,
Look.
so cute.
Yeah.
Here we go. He said that Siberia was a filthy hole and very cold. And by the way, he despised his neighbors per chicken huddle. Go figure. Just kidding. And welcome to Reggie as well. Reverend G.M. Peacock. Yes, there was a Reverend G.M. Peacock.
That's a real name.
He had weeds blowing around his parsonage this week. I guess he was going to the same place that dog was.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm using it to fatten my chickens.
Well, what do you think he did with the weeds?
I think he made them into a tumbleweed and gave them to a hobo.
Oh, he did not.
No, he did not.
What else do you think he did with weeds 100 years ago? What did you do?
Burn them?
Yes, he raked them into a pile and burned them.
Which burned down the parsonage.
Well, wind came, blew. Actually, not quite.
No,
not as bad.
Oh, but
The wind blew the other way. It blew the fire onto him.
oh, God almighty.
And it scorched his mustache.
Wow.
He was not injured except for the
He's
mustache.
lucky. Thank God for the mustache. It saved him.
I know. Hey, I've been holding
wow.
these. What, babe?
Peter and a Karen joined.
Hey, welcome to
I think
Peter.
Karen from the library.
Oh, is it? Yes, absolutely. I would love to give some of the last names of people, but I don't want to, people want to be private on things. But I've been holding these for a couple of weeks now. We can finally go elsewhere also.
Oh, no.
So even though most of our stories are from Greeley, Colorado and the Greeley Tribune, occasionally we go elsewhere for other odd, strange, interesting news. So today we go elsewhere to,
Where?
Ball State,
Oh.
I guess that's Indiana, and a Kickstarter campaign
Oh, no.
for something called, and I think you showed this to me, the Testacuzzi. Did you show this to
I
me?
did not show you that.
This is the Testacuzzi,
I would
ladies and
not have
gentlemen.
showed you that. Yeah.
It is, what do you think a Testacuzzi is?
Oh, I did show you that. It's a place to wash your testicles.
Yes, it is, dear.
That's important.
It's a hot tub for your nuts. Relax them, and I'm quoting now, dunk them, rejuvenate them. Yes, it's a real product, unquote. Here's how it works. It's simple.
It might feel good, I would assume.
I'm sure it does. Just fill the...
It's like a little bathtub. Right?
Well, women have had B-days for years. Men have never had that option of just kind of dunking and soaking.
You just get a cup and a cup of water and dunk them?
Yeah, instead of Dunkin' Donuts, it's Dunkin' Yo-Nuts. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
You just fill the Testacuzzi with warm or comfortably hot water. Turn on the bubbler. Now we know where Lawrence Welk got that from. Strip down naked, because if you're gonna be doing this, you probably want to be naked. And then, quote, dunk the junk. Now kick back, relax, and let the boys rejuvenate. Before you know it, they will be refreshed and ready for action. I am, by the way, reading all of this verbatim. This is this.
Sad. That's really sad.
And yes, we will do a commercial for this. To purchase or for more information, visit testikuzi.com. And it's TESTI and Kuzi, like jacuzzi, CUZZI. Probably it should be, if it's Italian, testicuzzi.com. Well, whatever.
Cute,
I don't know. But anyway, that is a true thing. Testicuzzi.com. It is holiday time. Yeah, if there's a guy on your list or a dog with nudicles and needs that kind of relaxation.
Don't you want the Heinz ketchup watch? That's what you want, right?
Oh,
You
that's
can't find it. You should ask your listeners. Maybe they could find it.
well. I almost rather have a potato. If anybody has one of these, for my holiday. And this is on my holiday bucket list always. If anybody has this particular potato from Toy Box Creations, I am always looking, and no reasonable offer turned down.
That's not true.
And by reasonable, under
Under
$300.
$20.
Yeah, right. Anyway, one more story from elsewhere, but Cynthia says, in terms of the Testikuzi, you just have to follow the bouncing ball. Oh, and somebody just gave hearts to potatoes. Thank you so much.
Aw.
Thank you. Anyway, here's another story from elsewhere. This is from all over the world. This is from the internets.
Say hi to Seth and Michael and Sarah.
Well, wow, lots
and
of
another
people.
Melissa.
Seth, Michael, Sarah, and other Melissa. Welcome to the
That's not her
Daverhood.
name, it's just Melissa.
Wait, by the way, it's a little after 9:30 in the morning Eastern time. We're doing Dave's Gone By, our 723rd episode.
He's got the munchies.
Chicken is high.
He's got
Chicken
the
is
munchies.
way high. Look at this.
He's got the munchies, David.
Oh, man.
Why is potato on with tea?
Oh, I have no idea what happened there. Another story. This one comes to us from the internets, and I was alerted to it by someone I went to high school named Bob. So thank you, Bob. I don't know if you're watching this morning. There is a new app you can download called, quote, Run Pee. Run, as in run, pee as in pee.
Oh, I like that. Sometimes I have to pee a lot. I like that. Is it to find a bathroom?
Not quite.
I'd like that, to find a pee place.
It's for pee. I'm sure there's an app already for that. Where's your nearest bathroom? Maybe GPS probably does that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or GPS. If you think about it, it's for people with weak bladders. And here's the deal. You know how movies now are 2.5 hours long? Sometimes you go to these Marvel comic things.
Yeah.
They tell you.
Oh, say hi to Bruce and another Michael.
Hey, Bruce and Michael. It tells you when, if you're watching a movie, there's a dull scene where nothing important happens.
You can peepers.
And if you can go.
I tell you the truth? I had the theaters have like lounge chairs. And I was with my friend and I wanted to go peepers.
Yeah.
But I was so afraid that if I went, not only could I not find the theater, but I would find the wrong seat. Because it's not the peeing part, it's the dark theater trying to find your way.
Oh, definitely.
And you can't put your cell phone because people get mad.
But if you're going to go, they're going to tell you, oh, if you miss this scene in a romantic comedy, it's secondary and it's kind of dull, you're not going to miss much, no plot is going on.
Who does that? And people actually post that?
Well, it's an app. They've designed this app that will tell you about all these different movies. Like if you go in this movie, oh, in this one, there's that scene where the police captain is telling the renegade cop, you better toe the line, McMurphy. Yeah,
and then you don't care.
Yeah, it goes on for 3 minutes. They have to have it in the movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's an app. It's a thing. It's cute. It's kind of cool. There ought to be a similar one like for Broadway theater when you can rustle your candy and take out your little sucking candy and stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And then audiences are laughing so loud in this scene that this is the time you can open your Hershey bar.
Cool.
Do it now.
That's really cool.
It's a thought. It's a thought.
Like that. That's cool.
We're thinking of Greeley crimes at all times. Let's go back to some crimes before we get to some other stuff that we're going to do on this shorter episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife Joyce, potato, of course, stoned chicken, and of course, Roit Adom, our friend from last week, who's just jonesing for Hanukkah. We never put a shamash in his bag. Oh,
next time.
Oh, okay. We will light your candle. Okay. Rent moment there. Okay, here we go. New story from just a couple of weeks ago or a week or two ago. Greeley police responded to 53rd Avenue Court for 4 kids pulling each other behind. No, they weren't pulling each other. They were pulling each other
behind. What's going on?
behind a white Jeep Cherokee and doing donuts.
Oh, donuts, I think, is when you go round and round, right? You kind of spin yourself.
Oh,
right?
okay, because I was wondering.
No, not like doing like
that's
Winchell's doing like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, that's not what the hole is for in those things.
No.
I'll tell you that. Police also responded to 14th Street Road for a pickup truck with no tailgate. What is it? What is an actual tail? I know from football.
The tailgate is like there's a license plate. It's the back bumper.
Oh, so
it's the back bumper of a car.
So why don't they just call it a bumper? Oh, because it has 2 bumpers, a front bumper.
Yeah, it's like front and half.
They should call a front bumper a frumper.
They should call it a frumper.
They really should.
And the back a humper.
So this pickup truck had no tailgate and 2 people inside, quote, acting weird. It was a tailgate party without an actual tailgate. This is kind of interesting.
I guess they wonder why. It could be an accident or something, you know.
Yeah. Let's do a little another old time or two, and then we'll move on with a bit more of the program. Want to let you know that for the first time in many years, there has not been a major injury accident at the sugar factory.
Oh, good.
While they were grinding beets.
You know what they say with that? Sweet.
Sweet. Only 3 minor injuries have occurred this year.
Only 1 dismemberment and 1 death, but nothing, you know.
No one even got beat up. Well, you know, if someone does get really seriously injured at the sugar factory and goes lame, at least it's cane sugar. Okay, walk with a cane.
That was a stretch.
It was kind of, yes. Let's do another old time. Oh my goodness, hon. Chicken alert. Chicken alert. Chicken alert.
Wait, hold on.
It's more chickens. Ain't nobody here but us chickens.
We're have to call.
We have a chicken alert, ladies and gentlemen. This is important. From 100 years ago.
How can I get their faces on the screen?
You gotta look for that little hole. That's what he said. And then just hold them there. 100 years ago, they were alerting readers, that the annual chicken show will be at the Owens Pavilion on 9th Street. Oh, they're excited about this. From December 16th through the 20th, admission is only 10 cents, and youngsters in poultry clubs can win cash prizes.
That poultry club gives you a good discount.
Oh, look, honey, it's Poultry in Motion.
You blinded me with science.
Oh, and Barry joined. Welcome, Barry. Barry, I invite you to come on the show at some point soon. We'd love to talk to you. He is a composer of off-Broadway and Broadway musicals.
Verissimo.
So hey, Barry, I used to run the box office for a show that he did 30 years ago.
Wow.
So welcome, Barry.
Why don't you have him on, honey?
I would love to. I'm just saying. I just invited him on. I'm like, yeah, Barry, please. If not in a second, but contact me and leave me a Facebook message. I'd love to talk to you about the shows that you have written, including a couple that make it to Broadway. Oh, Cynthia says, "quote Your humor has rubbed off on Joyce." Not even going to go there.
That's not
Not
true.
even.
Tell
No.
her that's not true.
And by the way, youngsters in poultry clubs can win cash prizes.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, they ain't for the birds. An advertisement. Camel cigarettes. They win you on quality.
Ooh, I want that.
Bite is eliminated, and there is a cheerful absence of any unpleasant cigarette-y aftertaste or any unpleasant cigarette-y odor.
Or any lung cancer stuff.
No, that they pack in the lung cancer.
Oh, they do.
But they've gotten rid of cigarette-y odor.
That's good.
Yeah, which I'm sure they didn't and couldn't. But the idea that, that must have been a slogan that the advertising agency came up with on a Friday. Now, first of all, they're intimating that all cigarettes give you cigarette-y odor except this one.
That's sad.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It was a Friday slogan. And finally, let's do one last one because we want to move on with more of the show. But welcome to Bruno also. A truck loaded with Christmas trees was seen in town on Tuesday.
Nice.
That's probably why we got such a snowstorm. The weatherman must have seen the truck and thought Christmas is here. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I'll tell you, the days when newspapers would make cute editorial statements like that about Christmas trees, I don't pine for them. I'm sorry, I tried to branch out with my humor there. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Yes, we are live on this Saturday, December 7th, 2019, with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling, adorable wife, Joyce. On Dave's Gone By, we will have our Today Yesterday quiz coming up, as well as our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Just want to remind you, unfortunately, we're not here until noon today. We're just hanging till 10:30 because we got places to meet and people to go. But we're still going to do all the fun stuff, including right now, getting a little cultural with you inside Broadway. Inside Broadway, a look at theater on and off Broadway and beyond. Brought to you by Total Theater and Performing Arts Insider. Curtain going up. I wish I could do that nose flute like Gene Shepard used to do when he would play along with advertisements and promos and stuff, and he would have a special kind of nose kazoo. Can't quite do that. But what I can do is this segment on this episode of Dave's Gone By, Inside Broadway. Love to talk about theater news and exciting stuff that's going on the Rialto, as well as review some shows for you, because a lot of our viewers now, of course, are in New York or in the tri-state area, and you might be thinking, hey, I want to go see a show. I want to spend 8 paychecks to go see something on Broadway, or 3 paychecks to see it off Broadway and have a nice night out. So I kind of clue you in. Tune in, plug in. So here we go. I do want to start with a review of a revival of a Horton Foote play called The Young Man from Atlanta. And always had a little bit of resentment towards the play, even though it's very good, because he won the Pulitzer that year for this play. They gave him the Pulitzer Prize, and everybody was looking and going, Horton Foote is great. He's a master playwright, no question about it. And he also will live forever in the hearts of moviegoers because he did the screenplay for To Kill a Mockingbird, which is, for me, the greatest American film, greatest film ever, and one of the greatest adaptations you could possibly do of a book. So Horton Foote, legend, master. And then, but this play wasn't something terribly special when they did it back in the mid-1990s, and it came to Broadway. And I even spoke to one of the members who was on the Pulitzer committee that year, and they said, well, it's kind of a career award. This is a very good play, but it's really saying thank you to Horton Foote for creating all these plays about these people in Texas, and just for how good he is all the time. Okay. Fine, I'm down with that. So, but this is the play from 1995. Signature Theater produced it back then in 96. Now they're reviving it. And it's called The Young Man from Atlanta. What? The Young Man from Atlanta. So what it's about is this middle-aged guy played by Aidan Quinn. Oh, I can't look at that or it'll throw me off because there's like a delay. Middle-aged fella. He's been pretty successful in business. He's got a fairly cushy job in this produce company. But, the company's having kind of a downturn. It's more like vegetables and fruits and things like that. And he's bought like the dream house that he's building for him and his wife, Lily Dale. So they moved in, they haven't even unpacked everything, but he's sort of overspent for it. He's bought the house of his dreams. He's putting a lease on a car of his dreams. He's going to have cruise towards retirement, quite literally. And then he gets some news from the guy that he picked to be his underling is now going to be his replacement. Because he gets kicked because they've lost some accounts. And yeah, he's remained like Willie Loman in Death of a Salesman.
He doesn't tell the family, does he?
Oh, he does, but the problem is he feels incredibly humiliated. He feels that the company is not being loyal. They're going to give him 3 months severance, and he tears up the check. He says, I'm going to go into business for myself. All I need is a bank loan and some money that I put aside, except I've got the money in the house. But I've given my wife, Lily Dale, a nice chunk of mad money every year that I gave to her. What she'd been spending it on. I've been buying everything for her. I get that money. I go to the bank. I've got capital, $200,000, $300,000. I've got a business.
This is bad.
What he doesn't know is that Lily Dale has been giving a bunch of that money to this guy who knew their son who died, possibly as a suicide, and his friend that he was living with, in another state or rooming with.
It's his partner.
It's never said explicitly,
okay.
right? But he has been getting money from her because she's been, he and Lily Dale don't really talk about the son's death. They want to talk about whether it's suicide.
Partner does.
Yeah, she does, and that's right. His partner makes her feel great about the son, and that he was so religious, and he was praying before he died, and that he was a great kid, and she loves to hear and talk about her son with him.
Or is he like?
We don't know.
What's the guy? Remember the?
It's a con game, possibly.
Yeah, the guy on Park Avenue. He was like a trickster.
Rockefeller.
No, an African American guy, and he went in
to
play.
Yes.
And
6 Degrees of Separation.
She played it, and
and
he really was great. It was Will. I saw it with Will.
Yeah. So it's possible that he's the con man, or there's another kid who knew him in school that's saying that guy's the con man. Meanwhile, he's bilking her stepbrother out of money too. So it's this whole thing about, of course, getting old and aging and being remaindered by society.
In reality, like who do you trust?
And also having a marriage, because they always keep all these secrets from each other. So they're like, don't tell my husband that, don't tell her this. There's every marriage. But it's like, don't tell him.
What secret are you keeping from me?
Oh, gosh. This leg, wooden. Bet you didn't know. Hollow leg. I'm going to keep egg creams in it. So whenever I'm thirsty for an egg cream.
You're hairy like a monkey.
My third leg's hollow. But anyway, don't even know what that means. So that's the situation. I've given you almost more plot than you need to know. But, it's a beautifully crafted play. One of the things that so many playwrights now have issues with is exposition. They just tell you stuff. They have a character come out and narrate, and I've seen this in every play now, even plays that I like quite a bit. And it's like, we're just going to tell you stuff, and then we'll get into the scene, so we'll set you up with a scene, you know what's going on in the book. And Hornfoot, he was old school. He gave you the exposition, and he dropped it in, and you figured out what was going on, and the backstory, and who was who, and who's connected to who, and who was, and he did it so gently, and I'm not even going to say cleverly, just with such exquisite craft. So if you're going to give him the Pulitzer for anything, it's that.
Wow.
He doesn't have to have people turn to the audience and narrate. He gets a story going, and he tells a story in scenes, the old-fashioned way. So I was impressed by that in this particular iteration of The Young Man from Atlanta. It's not a perfect play. Some things are hammered home overly so, and some things are kind of glided over very quickly. We start, for a moment, we're kind of told that the stepbrother, who's really the nicest guy on stage, might have been something of a molester, but we're not sure about it. There's some vague, weird, funky stuff going on too that isn't crystallized for us enough, I think. But Foote has a terrific way with foreshadowing for sure, and some really good acting too. Christine Nielsen, she plays Lily Dale, the wife who's something of a flibberty-gibbet, but she's just in grief. This is the only way she can get her grief out.
You at the end it leaves it open-ended?
It does. You're not sure who's being conned and who's for real and all of that. But what you do get, and what the arc is that they finally can have a grief moment together over their son that they never had. A real moment of understand and being able to say, okay, we can talk about him now, really. Maybe he did commit suicide. Maybe, I don't know if they're going to actually say whether he his sexuality was
Do people ever talk, like, do they interpret the play in analysis?
I'm sure they have. I haven't had time to read that. But there's some good acting here. Sure. Aidan Quinn, now you know him. He is on that show, Elementary, the Sherlock Holmes show.
Who is he?
He plays the captain. And I've never liked him on that. He's always been very just one-dimensional A to B. He's so much more here.
Well, maybe that's what the role says.
Yeah, maybe it is, but he could have made a little more of it. He's always the same exact way on Elementary. Much finer performance here from Aidan Quinn than I've seen him given years.
They probably tell him to do that.
And Christine Nielsen, who was so marvelous in Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike, and so terrible in Gary, a sequel to Titus Andronicus, she's back in great form here because she makes us, we hate Lily Dale for the stupid things she does, and at the same time we're completely sympathetic with her and we understand this character can't help doing what she does. Is a fine performance. So very worthwhile revival. It'll never be a thrilling play, but it's involving, it's funny, it's discomforting. I'll give it 3 1/4 stars, and I will recommend it at the Signature Theater, and you can get there. It's between 9th and 10th Avenue over on West 42nd Street, in this amazing theater complex that they have there, the Pershing Square Signature Center. It's The Young Man from Atlanta by Horton Foote. Speaking of reviews, I hope to be seeing this week the new musical Jagged Little Pill. It opened a couple of nights ago, and it's got a score by Alanis Morissette, book by the screenwriter Diablo Cody, directed by Diane Paulus. So some pretty big names right there. And it's funny, when the show was in previews, I would go and look at what people were blogging about it, and they're kind of being iffy and, well, another jukebox thing, because they're taking Alanis Morissette's album from 20-something years ago, turning it into a musical, because it was iconic for women of a certain generation. I got one hand in my pocket and another is picking my nostril, whatever. So the word on it was kind of mixed. And then the critics got a hold of it on Thursday night when it opened. And it's all about this affluent Connecticut mom to 2 teenagers. One is a Harvard-bound boy, and her girl is more rebellious. And, she's bisexual and questioning, and she has a girlfriend, and all that stuff is going on too. Okay, so critics got a look at Jagged Little Pill on Broadway this week when it opened. What did they think? Well, Jesse Green, writing for the New York Times, said this is one of the best jukebox musicals ever. And in fact, it puts the lie to the jukebox musical. It's better than that.
Whoa.
It's clear in its priorities, rich in character, sincere without syrup, rousing and real. That is a quote from the New York Times. And our friend of the Daverhood, Jesse Green, in reviewing the show. Roma Torrey, writing for New York One, says there are 6 characters in the musical. All of them are well developed. The performances are powerful, starting with Elizabeth Stanley, who acts and sings through the gamut of emotions with virtuosic finesse. The entire show is a moving anthem of our time. So, yeah. And then Marilyn Stasio, writing for Variety, she loved it too. She said it's a galvanic production. It would be an insult to call it a jukebox musical because the songs spring so organically from the subject matter. It feels very much of the moment, this moment. And that's just a sprinkling. Almost unanimously, the critics are saying terrific things about Jagged Little Pill, which is on Broadway now. And as I said, I'm going to see it, I hope, this week. And so when I do, I will report on it back to you and tell you what I thought. By the way, welcome to Barry and Bruno and Trevor and Sandor. We are in the middle of Inside Broadway on Dave's Gone By. Speaking of Broadway, you have just 3 more chances, count them, 3, to catch a couple of shows on Broadway that are closing this weekend. One of them is the fabulous revival of Harold Pinter's play Betrayal. Speaking of shows that are funny and discomforting, Tom Hiddleston, Zawe Ashton, and Charlie Cox are the actors. It's at the Bernard Jacobs Theater over on, I think on 44th. I could be wrong about that. It's a must-see. Everything is beautifully directed and even choreographed in its direction of this story of a 3-sided love triangle. I'm not even going to say anything more about it. If you haven't caught it yet, First of all, the movie is wonderful of Betrayal, but go to Broadway and see this production of Harold Pinter's Betrayal. They're also reviving Tennessee Williams' The Rose Tattoo, featuring Marissa Tomei. That is a roundabout production at the American Airlines Theater. And this one, I'm afraid, is kind of a miss. It's very lively, but tonally it's all over the place. It's too silly when it should just be funny.
Wow.
Not particularly touching, sometimes overdone, overwrought, kind of odd. It's just strained in all the ways. There's nothing organic, speaking of organic, nothing really natural about it.
Wow, David.
And Marissa Tomei is a good actress, but I'm not thrilled with the way she's directed here sometimes. So you can go see for yourself. It's The Rose Tattoo, playing 3 more times, twice today and once tomorrow on Broadway at the American Airlines Theater. Well, if you want to keep up on all the things that are playing and closing, when, where, and what, of course, you're going to want to get a copy of Performing Arts Insider,
What's
the Bible
the status of it, Booba?
of Broadway since 1944. Well, I was, I'm the publisher now. I was co-publisher with Richmond Shepard before he passed away a few months ago, and then I kind of took the thing over. And I'm tired. I'm working a full-time job. I'm getting older. I'm not making any money doing this. So I was going to quit. I was going to give it up at the end of the year. And then this is absolutely true. I'm not zooming you on any of this. I would go to the theater, and subscribers, some of whom I know personally, would come to me and then, I'm heartbroken. And say, is there anything you can do? Is there any way I can help? What can I do to keep Performing Arts Insider going? And I said, well, you could put me in your will and donate $7,000 to pay for this thing and to pay for my time. Well, they can't do that, but they did step up and make donations and renew and help. And I was like, you know what? I can keep it going a little longer. I'm going to keep it as great as it's always been. For 76 years, the Bible of Broadway, every single show on, off, and off Broadway is covered in depth in the pages of Performing Arts Insider. There's a calendar listings page of when shows begin, previews, open, and close, both on as well as all the shows off and off Broadway. You won't find that anywhere else. And then, of course, our comprehensive listing. So we were just talking about The Young Man from Atlanta on Broadway. Let's find that in here. I think it'll probably be still upcoming. Young Man from Atlanta at the Signature Theater. Where is it? Here it is. Look at this. Look at all this information just on that show. All the designers involved, Horton Foote, of course, the author, the director is Michael Wilson, the casting director, people in the cast, the plot synopsis, the history of the show, the awards it's won over the years, some notes and trivia about the show, who's producing it, who's the press agent who handles the show, how do you contact them, the theater, the address, the dates. Imagine that we do this for every single show on, off, and off Broadway. You don't have to imagine. That's what we've been doing for all these years, and do it once a month, 12 times a year. Now, it's expensive. It's a journal. It's not like People magazine you pick up for $3, $4 on the newsstand. You can get a single copy either at Theater Circle over on West 44th Street or send away for one. All the information is at performingartsinsider.com. Performingartsinsider.com. And the nice thing is, as I said, our subscribers are so loyal and they love this journal so much that they subscribe over and over again. And it isn't cheap, but it's worth it to them because there's no other place you can get this much information packed in so succinctly as in the pages of Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway. Well, it is 10 in the morning Eastern time here in the Daverhood. Dave Lefkowitz here, my darling and adorable wife Joyce is with me for the 723rd episode of Dave's Gone By. It is December 7th, 2019. So we do have our Today Yesterday quiz still coming up, as well as our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. But I want to get through just a little bit more of Inside Broadway. Oh, and we have a dog moment. This will get us some more visual, some more viewers. Some more visual. Well, that's the thing. We want people, I know a lot of people listen, but they close the actual video viewer because who wants to look at this face for an hour and a half? But this face you want to see, of course you do. Yes, you do. This is our doglet. This is our dog. Hello. So we're having a dog moment here.
Bedhead.
But let's do a little bit more of Inside Broadway and some sad news. Gotta let you know about a couple of people that the Rialto lost this past week, including Ron Liebman passed away just yesterday at the age of 82. He died of pneumonia. Ron Liebman, Tony winner and a Drama Desk winner for playing Roy Cohn in the original Angels in America. And I have my issues with the play when I saw it all those years ago. I mean, I thought parts of it were genius, unquestionably. Other parts, not so much. But when Ron Liebman was on stage playing Roy Cohn, I was like, this is magic. He was incredible in the role. Now, he started, I didn't even know this, as a member of the Compass Players, an improv group out in Chicago. And you would know him from television as much as anything else. He was an Emmy winner for the show Kaz, which ran only 2 seasons, but he made a big impression in it. He was in Norma Ray. Remember that movie with Sally Field? He played like the labor lawyer.
What are you talking about?
His first Broadway show was in 1963. It was called Dear Me, The Sky is Falling, which was kind of a hit because Gertrude Berg was in there. He was in I Ought to Be in Pictures on Broadway, the Neil Simon play. He also did the 1988 Neil Simon play Doubles. Oh, I'm sorry, the 98 Neil Simon play Rumors with our friend of the Daverhood, Austin Pendleton, was in that.
Austin Pendleton's in everything.
He was in the show Doubles, which is one of the first Broadway shows I ever saw as a grown-up back in 1985. Wow. That was the show with Austin Pendleton. And he was married to, and I do bid condolences to our friend Linda Lavin. Oh, she was married to him for several years.
She's been on a bunch of times, Bubba, no?
Yeah, no, just once. But she was his first wife, and then he married Jessica Walter.
Yes.
And they acted together quite a bit, and she is, I'm assuming, grieving at the moment. So our condolences to that, and of course to Broadway, which has lost Ron Liebman. Broadway has also lost Marion McClinton, who died at the age of 65 last Friday, November 28th. He won an Obie in 2000 for directing a revival of Jitney. Obie is an off Broadway award. Yeah, from the Village Voice started it like many, many, many years ago. He also is the guy who brought August Wilson's King Hedley II and the revival of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom with Whoopi Goldberg. He brought those to Broadway. It was Marion McClinton who gave August Wilson his first start at the St. Paul Penumbra Theater when they mounted a August Wilson play nobody really knows about called Black Bart and the Sacred Hills back in 1982. McClinton also did other people's plays. He directed Drowning Crow by Regina Taylor on Broadway in 2004, and he did a bunch of off-Broadway shows like Jar the Floor and Dancing on Moonlight at the Public Theater. So a farewell to Marion McClinton from the Daverhood Rialto, I guess we could say. I do want to quickly, I was going to review this last week. I didn't get a chance. So let me review very quickly. At the Minetta Lane Theater, an off-Broadway show called The Half-Life of Marie Curie. It's a play by Lauren Gunderson. I think she is the one who is the most produced playwright in America. She's almost nothing done in New York, never been on Broadway, and yet everybody does her everywhere else. So now, that? I don't know. But she's prolific, and she gets a lot of plays done. This one is directed by Gay Taylor Upchurch, and it's, as we say, The Half-Life of Marie Curie, Madame Curie.
Featuring the half-life is radioactive. Half-life is a radioactive term.
Marie Curie is played by Francesca Faridani. This is what happens when I rush. Francesca Faridani.
Watch. Breathe and breathe.
Now she has a friend named Hertha Ayrton, and that is played by Kate Mulgrew, who, of course, you all know from Star Trek. Was it Next Generation? Which one was she on? Oh, Deep Space Nine.
No,
one of those. Anyway, here's the plot of it. Really, is a 2-character play. Marie Curie is one of the characters.
Lesbians?
Well, they're not. No, they're just friends, right? You can't have a play nowadays with 2 women in it where there's not some sort of sexual, but it isn't. They were just friends. As a matter of fact, the problem that faces Madame Curie is that she's had an affair, and she's been drummed out of France. And here's this woman who has done extraordinary things for science and has won a Nobel Prize.
We have the problem that her husband always got credit for her work because years ago women couldn't get credit.
Well, there was that, but this was a thing of them just lambasting her because her affair became an open secret, and they were gonna give her another prize, but they didn't want her to show up and accept
Oh,
it
that's cheap.
because it would be an embarrassment. So her friend takes her away to the English countryside, to her estate,
Oh, is it like that show?
like being a best
Howard
friend
Stern.
and pulling her away from this Sturm und Drang, the stuff that she doesn't and shouldn't have to deal with. So they have this relationship and this friendship, and they talk about their careers, and they talk about science a bit, and also their personal lives and stuff. Well, it's one of the nice things about the Half-Life of Marie Curie, which is an audible production at the Minetta Theater, is, it's a 2-character play. It runs 80 minutes. So it doesn't outstay its welcome. It doesn't go on forever. There's no intermission. But it's not one of these plays that's an hour and 50 minutes with no intermission. It goes. And even so, as I'm watching it for the first half hour or so, I'm saying, okay, they have a nice friendship. They're talking together. They're supporting each other, which is a very nice thing to see women do in this woke era. But I'm waiting for, what are you looking for in my bag, please?
I'm eating a chocolate.
Okay.
I can look in your bag.
I'm just wondering, yeah.
Why do you care? It's not your business.
Kind of is. So I'm waiting. When is the drama going to kick in? Because drama requires conflict, and it's great that they're getting. And this might be just a nice thing where it's a bio play where they tell about their careers. But finally, about 35, 40 minutes into the show, the halfway point, they get to the tipping point, and there is a conflict. They do have this fight, and it's a doozy. It's a good one, and it wakes the play up, and it carries it through the rest of the show, and which becomes quite touching and quite involving. So I'm going to give a nice thumbs up to the Half-Life of Marie Curie. 3 solid stars at the Minetta Lane Theater. Some of it, this is one of those shows where they do some narration that isn't really necessary, but the better stuff is much more dramatic. And of course, we're going to like the actresses, and it's a nice piss and vinegar role for Kate Mulgrew. She gets to be like the staunch, buck-up, funny, really lively counterpart to Marie, who's just really upset and needs a place to hide away. It's a worthwhile history lesson redeemed by its better parts, the Half-Life of Marie Curie off Broadway that we've been talking about inside Broadway on Dave's Gone. Ooh, where'd it go? Hold on. Inside Broadway.
It's the famous gay white way where the night is bright as day. Ain't Broadway grand?
It's not just a thoroughfare, it's a tingle in the air. Ain't Broadway grand?
It's excitement, it's romance, it's all fun and song and dance. This wonderland, you can be a millionaire quicker here than anywhere. Ain't Broadway grand?
Yes, Broadway's grand, and I always feel grand talking about Broadway and the theater here on Dave's Gone By, where it's about 10 after 10 in the morning. Here we are live on this Saturday, December 7th, 2019. We've got our Colorado Limerick of the Dam to do, but as promised, we also have our today, yesterday, I don't call it a nostalgia quiz. It's a trivia quiz. Do you know your December 7th? So we're going to ask a few questions and test your memory. And Cynthia and Jeff, are you there? Because we're going to get into it right now with a few trivia questions here on Dave's Gone By. Yes, you do want to find it by yourself. So please, no wikiing, no Googling. Just see if you can get these. We've got just a few questions. If you guys are ready, it's called Today, Yesterday. We're going to go all the way back to 1808. For Today, Yesterday, there was, did you know, a George Clinton long before... but long before P-Funk, there was another George Clinton. In fact... I don't know where your telephone is, but he became vice president for the 4th American president, the father of the Constitution, who was elected today in 1808. So George Clinton was the vice president for our fourth president, who was elected
Oh, I
December
know.
7th, 1808.
Bernie Sanders. Was it Bern?
He's, Bernie Sanders was babysitting back at that point, but no. Can you name the president that we're talking about? So I'm going to give you a little bit of time. And where's my, I need my magical xylophony. Oh, here it is. I got it. Thank you. Where's my xylophony? Here it is. Okay, I'm going to give a countdown. And the point is also you're going to try and beat Cynthia and Jeff, who will tend to chime in first as soon as they've got the answer. So you're playing against them. So, who was elected president today?
Play Turn the White House Black on there.
Except they'll stop me from playing it after 4 seconds.
Not on the.
Oh, how's it go?
Turn the White House black. Turn the White House black. Who's got the funk?
We got the funk. That's a different song, yeah?
I'm mixing it.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
cool.
medley.
Anyway, so the answer is, and yes, Cynthia and Jeff, they are already correct. 1-0 with James Madison, elected today back in 1808. In 1889, yesterday, 1889, at London's Savoy Theatre, a musical called The Gondoliers opens. It is the last grandly successful collaboration between these two men, who followed with Utopia Limited and the big flop, The Grand Duke. Who were this team? I'll read it one more time. In 1889, at the Savoy Theatre in London, a musical called The Gondoliers opens. Now, it was the last hit of these people, because the two pieces that they did after that, Utopia Limited and The Grand Duke, were, well, Utopia did okay, but The Grand Duke was a big flop. But who are we talking about here on our Today Yesterday quiz on Dave's Gone By? I'm going to give you another couple of seconds to try and come up with that one. Our Today Yesterday quiz. And I'll give it a tiny little hint. And I mentioned 3 shows that these people are not very well known for. If I give the answer of the shows that they are, you would get it instantly. So I'm going to give another hint and do exactly that. These two. Do you want to take a guess, babe, before I
say it again? I need another.
Well, there's Gondoliers, Utopia Limited, The Grand Duke. Oh, and let's add HMS Pinafore and the Mikado.
Oh, Gilbert and Sullivan.
Gilbert and Sullivan
If
it
I
is.
know that, everybody should have got that.
And so here's the one. Do you know who wrote the music and who wrote the lyrics? For ages, I could never
Gilbert
tell.
wrote the music, Sullivan wrote the lyrics.
No, Sullivan wrote the music. Arthur Sullivan wrote
No, he didn't.
was the composer.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
I know him.
You do? Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I know him.
Next question in our Dave's Gone By quiz. Yesterday, 1937, the Boston Red Sox acquired the services of arguably the greatest baseball slugger of all time. He spent his career.
Oh, Mike Tyson?
Well, speaking of, I think you bit off more than you could chew.
Yeah, not so.
He spent his whole career at the Sox, racking up 19 All-Star appearances and a 482 on-base percentage, which is still the highest of all time. Who was he?
I have no idea.
1937, drafted by the Red Sox. Who are we talking about?
Who?
I'm going to give it another couple of seconds. Oh, we have an answer from Cynthia and Jeff. And they are correct. Well, you guys are 3 for 3. Yeah.
Who was it?
Answer is Ted Williams, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1966.
Is that real? Is he a real person?
Ted Williams, yes, he's the greatest baseball player, one of up there with DiMaggio, up there with Babe Ruth, up there with who's that other guy? Well, Hank Greenberg, just because Jewish. But here's the deal: he was inducted in the first year, and what do you think he did in his speech when he was inducted into the baseball
He
hall?
took a bat and did a Louima treatment.
No, he did not. This is very, very cool.
What did he do?
He took the time in his, remember, this is 1966, he was inducted. And he took a moment out to say that he wished players in the Negro leagues had the
Wow.
opportunity that he had and could be
Love it.
considered in the same way that he was being
I
considered.
love that.
Isn't that great? Isn't
That's-
that neat?
You know, that's
Ted
very,
Williams.
yeah, that's very decent. Some
Yeah.
people, that's unselfish, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Well, it's more than that. It's all brave.
But
Concerning the
it's brave,
year,
but
yeah.
also it's very like it's when people in a position of power use their position for good.
See, I feel like
Yeah.
people who sit in their rooms with 2 tin cans and string and do podcasting, I only wish that they could get the attention and the love that I
You
get.
don't.
from
You don't
doing-
care about anyone else
No,
but
I
yourself.
don't at all. I do not at all. Anyway, 2 more questions for today. Yesterday, 1941.
Sorry, buddy.
December 7th, 1941 was, of course, as you said, babe,
The
a day that will
will
live
live in infamy.
why was because it's
Well, we were there. I was telling one of the
I
veterans,
wasn't there
no,
for
one of
it.
the veterans that we spoke to. We were on the naval base. Your
Yeah.
friend Giggles
Yeah.
used to call, right? Remember when he?
I'm just showing my naval base.
No, but you remember when he took us there and they didn't fill in
Yeah.
any of the bullet
Yeah.
holes.
Yeah.
That they left them as a remembrance of the
Well,
attack.
it's
yeah.
a watery grave.
And I
It's a-
remember being on the boat, passing the monument, and they gave us a combination of mango, orange, and pineapple juice. I drank it, and it's the first time I got motion sick.
oh,
And they kept saying, "Go outside," and all you see is me holding on the rail in the pictures and it was raining. It was.
Yeah.
I just remember feeling very upset the whole time.
well, you're supposed to.
No, I know, but
it's
it
a
was
graveyard,
very
really.
upset, yeah.
The U.S. lost nearly half its fleet of battleships, and then the next day, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the president, called it a day that would live in infamy and declared war on Japan.
Mhm.
That was actually 9 hours after another country declared war on Japan first.
Japan.
Yes, they had a civil war. What other
I'm
country?
big in Japan.
I'm big in Japan.
I'm big in Japan.
They're dead in Japan, right? So who, even before the United States, after the attack on Pearl
Give
Harbor,
a hint.
who officially declared war
Ally
on
or
Japan
Axis? Ally or
first?
Axis?
Well, the Axis wouldn't declare war on Japan because they, fight in the same fight in some ways.
Mm.
What other country beat us to the punch? Okay. We have one answer. I'm not saying whether it's correct or
Say
not.
what it is.
Well, hold on. Cynthia said, what do you say, Cynthia? Because only fair if you're going to split the vote on this. What other country? Okay, question mark from her. All right. Good answer from Cynthia, but not the correct one. Oh, there's going to be some fighting in the house tonight. Your husband, Jeff, got it. It was England. England declared war first officially before FDR
Because
did.
they're an oppressor. You got to love a colonizer.
Well, Japan had attacked Malaya, Singapore, and Hong Kong. And also Winston Churchill had vowed to declare war on Japan, quote, within the hour of its attack on the
You
United
know
States.
why? Because they were colonies of Britain, didn't care.
Yeah.
Britain just wants their property.
Well, no,
protected.
also they promised America, if we get
Yeah.
attacked, we're in. So
We're down, brother.
Yeah. Okay, one more question on our yesterday quiz. Jeff is rocking it. Cynthia's almost rocking it. We got one more. 1971, yesterday, released today. Wildlife was the first album by this rock group, which would also record such records as Red Rose Speedway and Back to the Egg. Name the band.
Back to the egg?
Back to the
Is
Egg.
that a real name?
I like to say egg, but yes, Back to the Egg.
Is that real?
It is real indeed. Can you name this rock and roll band that in 1971 essentially started its career with an album called Wildlife?
Oh, it's a wild.
No, that's much later. That's Talking Heads. That's different. So, I'm going to give it a couple more seconds. And again, this is a question where if I gave you this band's more popular albums, you would know it in 2 seconds.
Is
So
it
I'm
Radio
purposing.
Gaga?
No,
Is it-
no, it's not that band. That's a good
Lady-
answer.
Lady Gaga?
No. Ooh, what an interesting answer from Cynthia and Jeff. Do we have an answer on this one? Wildlife, released today in 1971. So we have an answer there of new writers from the Purple Sage, or from the Purple Sage. It's not them. It's not Graham Parsons or anything like that. It's actually, you might go, when I say this, but it was Paul McCartney and Wings. Wings was the first, Wildlife was the first Wings album. Back to the Egg was a Wings album, Red Rose Speedway as well, and more commonly Band on the Run, Venus and Mars, Wings Over America, much better known records. So, not too bad though, guys. Cynthia and Jeff, and I hope you all had fun playing. Oh, I didn't realize all these other people were giving me hearts and thumbs up. Bob and Cynthia and Bonnie and Tony. So I think, let's see, I don't know how many questions we had. 6 questions. Jeff went, wow, 6-0. And I think, it's 5-1. Cynthia went 4-2. Not too shabby.
Wow.
But Cynthia says she was gonna say Wings, but Jeff said New Riders of the Purple Sage. So you're both. Yeah, I don't want to be there over the dinner table tonight. But that is our yesterday quiz here on Dave's Gone By, where it is 20 after 10 in the morning Eastern time here. I wish we had our usual length of rope with which to hang myself for the show, but we only have a little while longer. So let me make sure that I do a few Friends of the Daverhood, then we'll do our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and roll on out of here.
I'll prepare some FOD for the DOG.
Oh, yeah, it's all prepared. You just have to leave it for him. So let's do our Friends of the Daverhood. Friends of the Daverhood are people who have appeared on this program in months or years past, and we keep tabs on them and let you know what they're up to. For example, congratulations to Charlie Gross, my good friend. And it's a really great article. He wrote an op-ed piece called Debate Questions I Would Ask Bernie Sanders, essentially questions he would ask about Israel, and it was published in the Jewish Press.
Nice.
So, and they're all really good questions that people like Bernie should be answering about Israel.
We have
so,
Luke, Charis, a lot of people joined.
Oh, welcome, yeah.
Donald, Trevor,
yeah.
Gat, Alan, Charis, Mark.
Great.
And Lou.
Great, welcome to all of you.
And Karen and Martin just joined.
Yay, welcome. Now, you've missed a good chunk of the show already. Remember that you can go to the Dave's Gone By archives, davesgoneby.com, and watch, you can listen to the very first shows we were doing.
Give him lunch now?
Oh, leave it for him when we go. So, yeah, great. When we were doing the show back in 2002, October of 2002, it was just terrestrial radio. It was an hour long, 11 o'clock at night, audio only. All of those, they're still on davesgoneby.com. You can hear what I sounded like 17 and a half years ago and what this show was. Then you can go back 15 years, 10 years, 8 years. It's all there. davesgoneby.com. We've also loaded up a bunch of the archives now at castbox.fm. They're only the more recent ones. But if you like to listen to the show on the go as more of a podcast, than just having a place where you've got a computer in front of you and you're working and doing stuff. If you're at the gym, or if you're in the car or somewhere else and you want to listen to an MP3 that way, castbox.fm has just the audio. You want to check that out. And we've also been uploading our stuff to a wonderful site called archive.org, which is where I've been listening to like old Gene Shepard shows and Henry Morgan shows and things like that. It is an amazing resource. And we've been loading very slowly but carefully a bunch of recent archives onto there. But you get everything at davesgoneby.com. Want to remind you that davesgoneby@aol.com is the way you can email me, and Radio Dave 2 is my Twitter feed. But we're in the midst of doing our Friends of the Daverhood. Want to wish condolences to playwright Arthur Bicknell. His brother Harrison died on Tuesday at the age of 90. So a farewell to, so sorry about that. I want to let you know that Ari Gold has a new music video. It's called I Love Belarus. And it's on YouTube. You can see it there. He did an Instagram video also about visiting Eastern Europe. And this comedy video of Belarusia that he did. You want to check that out. Hey, this past Wednesday, December 4th, Chaz Palminteri did an industry reading of Michael Christopher's new play, Pop. So maybe we'll be hearing about that in weeks and months to come. Today, Jackie the Joke Man Martling is at McGuire's Comedy Club in Bohemia, Long Island. Jeff Harner tonight is at the Beach Cafe on East 70th Street doing his show, Too Marvelous for Words. You can find out more at his brand new website, jeffharner.com, Harnar. Tomorrow, big day for Jim Morgan, our friend at the York Theater. He is the artistic director there. He's being honored by Theater Resources Unlimited with a benefit at Caroline's Comedy Club. And Leroy Reams, who was just on the show a couple of weeks ago, he's co-hosting. Sheldon Harnick, also our friend. He will be there, as will Frank Wildhorn, our composer friend. Well, this is the banner day for Dave's Gone By people. That is tomorrow at Caroline's for Jim Morgan of the York Theater. Letting you know that starting on Monday, Amy Mann and Ted Leo are doing their Christmas show with our other friend Lisa Loeb joining them. That is at Largo at the Coronet Theater if you happen to be in Los Angeles. Let's see, Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano are singing Harnick and Strauss. That's at Birdland on, when is that? That's on the 10th. I got that day wrong. On Wednesday, Linda Lavin, we just mentioned her. She's with Billy Stritch at Birdland doing 2 shows that day. On Thursday, this is for Drama Desk members, Michael Portantiere will be chatting with Jonathan Groff at Ripley Greer Studios. Michael Portantiere is a theater critic who's been on a bunch of our Tony Award specials. Mac McLean has adapted C.S. Lewis's novel, The Great Divorce, and they're producing that at Theater Row, which is running from the 12th through the 29th of December. And this coming Friday, it's a Chapin Family Christmas with Tom Chapin at the Patchogue Theater on Long Island. Running now through December 21st, it was just extended. Alice Ripley, the Tony winner, is starring in a revival of Baby, being done on West 45th Street. Renee Taylor is in New Brunswick, New Jersey, doing her solo show at the George Street Theater, My Life on a Diet, now through middle of December. Ruben Santiago Hudson is directing, Jitney. We're just talking about Jitney. Ruben Santiago Hudson is directing that at the Mark Taper Forum in LA. Now through, January 5th on Broadway, a marvelous production of A Christmas Carol featuring LaChanze as the Ghost of Christmas Present. Go see it. And then you have only a couple more weeks now to see Tootsie on Broadway at the Marquis Theater. It features a score by our friend David Yazbek with Julie Holston in the cast. Shout out to Bob Cudmore, who does podcasts about upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com. Shout out to our friend Evan Seplow, who is the founder of StageBuddy.com. Dr. Demento, who has drdemento.com, of course. And then Eva Heineman, she hosts High Drama, the theater review show on Manhattan Cable TV, and Charlie Gross and Leslie Hoban Blake, they co-host Two on the Aisle, also on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. So it's just about 10:30 in the morning. Joyce and I have to get going, unfortunately. But before we do, I'm not going to go away without doing our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
So yes, Joyce and I lived in Colorado for a bunch of years, and so I got it into my head to write a poem about some place, municipality, city, town in Colorado, and do one every week. And I will warn you, they're usually horrible and disgusting and risque and awful. So cover your children's ears, cover your grandparents, cover your own ears if you don't want to hear these. Because today we're going to Peetz, Colorado, Peetz. Kind of interesting, the P theme running or streaming through the show today. Peetz is a 1/4 square mile farming town in far northeast Colorado. It's named after early settler Peter Peetz. That was his name. I don't know if he picked a peck of anything. For a while, the town had a number of businesses and a well-respected newspaper called the Peetz Gazette. It's still got one restaurant in the place called the Hot Spot. It's got a grain elevator and a service station in Peetz, Colorado. So are you ready for today's Colorado Limerick of the Damned? Ahem, ahem. An elegant lady from Peetz can do quite remarkable feats, like strike a long match on the lips of her snatch
Oh, God.
and shoot gasoline from her teats.
That's horrific.
That's our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, ladies and gentlemen, for today, December 7th, 2019. Send your comments and complaints to Dave Lefkowitz, Dave's Gone By at AOL.com. You can also post anytime on our Facebook page. You can catch me on Twitter, Radio Dave 2. And of course, remember all the archives, davesgoneby.com. And tell folks about this show. We want more and more people listening. We want to make the show bigger and better than ever and get it to more folks because it's such a cool program. We expect we will be here next Saturday, December 14th, for a full, our usual, where I can relax a little bit, our 3-hour
You did very
episode.
well, honey. It's amazing.
Well, thank you, sweetie. Well, I it's usually the third hour where my mouth starts to, and I can't form words anymore.
Well, you had to do it sooner because of the,
And maybe we'll have a guest. Well, I know we have a guest coming up on the 21st, which is an author, a guy who has an amazing story to tell about the Holocaust. Rabbi Saul will be doing that interview with Marty Brownstein, author of Two Among the Righteous Few. And it's about a couple of non-Jews who saved some Jews during the Holocaust. You don't want to be there for that. But that's in 2 weeks. We should be here next Saturday, December 14th, from 9 until noon or thereabouts for the 724th edition of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. Let's have our outro theme, if I can find it. Wow, it's hard. Here it is. Courtesy of our friend of the Daverhood, Dave J. So it just remains for me to say, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you're all gearing up for a fine and warmer week, at least here on the East Coast, with a little bit of rain happening on Monday and Tuesday. Anything you want to wish our listeners, hon?
Shag Sameach.
Shag Sameach. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in, by the way. Thank you to my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. Happy birthday to my mom-in-law that we're going to go see in just a little
And
while.
it was your cousin Stephanie's birthday last week.
Oh, and happy birthday, Stephanie, and happy good things to her. Because, you know what, so many people I know have been having such terrible things and terrible news the past few months. I mean, everybody's losing people or having medical stuff. It's true. Joyce says it's just carelessness. That's right. But seriously, folks, try and make got a couple more weeks till the end of the year. Let's just get through, alive and reasonably well. Can we do that?
That's so Jewish.
It is Jewish and gone by.
Days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.
Have a great one, folks, and gone by.